LoreWarrior Aerotech THK-63 Tomahawk. Overview. Designed as an agile, medium-sized fighter, the Tomahawk excels at dogfighting, both in space and in atmosphere. Developing 6 Gs of thrust, its plasma star engine allows the Tomahawk to attain significant velocity rapidly and maneuver nimbly. A mixture of ergonomic cockpit design and an advanced flight suit allows the pilot to remain alert and in control of such high-intensity maneuvers. Capabilities. With weapon systems that do not require ammunition and 5 tons of fuel, the Tomahawk is well geared to extended operations, and so the Star League commonly employed them as escorts or patrol craft. However, the laser weapons place a significant strain on the heat dissipation systems, and numerous early modifications to the design were intended to mitigate this problem on the original THK-43. The inclusion of high-efficiency heat sinks in models produced after 2680 cured the problem and created the THK-63 model, though a number of the earlier examples, of which thousands were built, were scrapped rather than updated because of significant chassis modification to the design. Deployment. The Tomahawk established itself as a key part of the SLDF's aerospace forces, and despite issues with the design, it remained in service for over 100 years. A significant number survived the war against Amaris and were scattered throughout the Innisphere, or else left with Kerensky. Most were lost in combat or scrapped for parts, but a few examples remained in museums and private collections. While the clans retained the design in their second-line forces, the largest number appearing with Comstar and the Word of Blake, with a few examples slipping into DCMS and Free Worlds League due to technology exchanges. The Vanka plant on Mars, for many years mothballed, resumed production of the design in 3052 on the orders of the Presenter Marshal, and though its current disposition is unknown, it's believed to remain active in support of the Word of Blake militia, despite damage inflicted by both Wolf's Dragoons and Comstar's Case White. Variants. There have been 5 revisions of the Tomahawk over the years, of which only 3 saw widespread service. The prototype 33 model featured only 10 single heatsinks and had conventional armour, and it was quickly superseded by the 43 model that reduced the armour slightly in favour of 2 additional heatsinks while using ferro-aluminium composites to compensate for the armour lost to the heatsinks. Heat dissipation issues with the first production model led to the development of the 53 that featured 2 more additional heatsinks and replaced the weaponry with a trio of medium lasers and extra armour. This revision proved insufficient again, and the 4th and best known mode, the 63, came into being in 2680. Recent years have seen a number of Comstar's venerable Tomahawks, a mix of 53 and 63 models, upgraded to the 63CS. This follows the basic loadout of the common model, but replaces the conventional large lasers with extended range variants and drops the small laser in favour of an ER small. While improving the performance of the Tomahawk when facing opponents like the clans, they've brought the design full circle, leading to a number of pilots complaining about heat management. Externally, the clan's second-line variant of the Tomahawk is indistinguishable from the Star League progenitor, though in many regards it resembles the Comstar version. Upgrading the lasers to clan ER versions and using the space freed up by the compact clan systems to add additional armour and heatsinks results in a less problematic design than the 63CS. A sub-variant employs heavy lasers in lieu of the extended range models, and while a number of pilots favour its hitting power, heat management is an issue and requires careful supervision. Notable pilots. Star Commander Gantz. While Clan Snowraven has had considerable success in developing and producing new fighters, it also maintains a substantial number of vintage aircraft in its Tauman. The Tomahawk is well represented and has seen considerable action in recent years. The freeborn Gantz is one of its best-known pilots, having employed the design in bandit hunting operations in the periphery and also against the Draconis Combine. The venerable design and its, by clan standards, aged pilot have notched up an impressive kill total, utilising the Tomahawk's speed, agility, and firepower to deadly effect. He's among only a handful of Raven freeborns allowed to attend the Khan's War Council, and one of only 2 allowed to display warship kill markers. Ah, how nice. Oh, he's doing a good job, let's let him have his little kill markers. Wankers the clans are, every last one of them. So yes, the Tomahawk, a 45-ton Aerotech fighter on the Schiphol 35B airframe with a Plasma Star 270 engine, armour provided by Fiber 10 ferroaluminium with an Exostar small laser and 2 Martel SR large lasers, manufactured by Vanka Aerospace. I mean, I could read it phonetically as Wang Ke, but I don't think anyone wants to hear that. Primary factory, Mars. Communication system is a Telestar Fortran with targeting and tracking provided by IMB 5000. So the 63 Tomahawk, it's a fat old boy, but it's got a big punch. It moves 8 and 12 on the board, safe thrust and max thrust, with a armor factor of 179, 57 on the nose, 42 on each wing, and 38 on the aft. It can take a beating. It certainly can. It's not a bad looking aircraft. It's quite pretty, to be honest, for the most part. Big rocket thrusters on the underside. It's not like the most wow, shocking, that's amazing looking aircraft, but it obviously does the job. It's quite nice. And yeah, this was read from the upgrade 3050 TRO. Yeah, the original 2750 TRO was a much shorter edition, just talking about the abnormally high heat signature along with the ferro-aluminium armor. It's blah blah blah, goes on about how it excelled in testing and fielding, thousands of them retrofitted with double heatsink despite great expense. Now, it's interesting that this mention, the original TRO mentions that the modified Tomahawk excelled in tests and in the field, and thousands of Tomahawks have been retrofitted with double heatsinks despite the great expense, whereas the one I just read out basically said that most of those were basically scrapped because they didn't want to go through the cost. So I don't know which is which. I'm assuming the 3050 upgrade supersedes the 2750 entry, but it's interesting to note. As it says, designers mounted the small laser in the nose more out of tradition than utility, as the small laser is of little use. Designers feared that pilots would balk at a fighter without a weapon in the nose. As an editor's note here, also says the only variant of the Tomahawk is the 53, which was an earlier attempt to resolve the heat problem. Each wing holds 3 medium lasers and 2 additional heat sinks. A half-ton of armor replaces the small in the nose. The change was insufficient to solve the overheating, and so few fighters of this design exist. So there you go. Something variant-wise that isn't mentioned there, but yes, most of the variant stuff there just talks about heat issue, heat issue, heat issue. It doesn't tell you about the weapons, unfortunately, but there you go. There was one that had a few extra medium lasers in the wings instead. So 6 medium laser variants instead. So it's interesting when you see these little differences between the TROs as they come about. So it's still the same THK 63 Tomahawk in the 2750 as it was there, and you get a different artwork that's from below, which isn't as good as the new artwork because you need to see the kind of the side or the top of the aircraft. Just seeing it from below doesn't really give you enough of a readout of the weapon systems and stuff. So it was good that they did that. I also believe the armor is different. Yeah, 179 there, but it's 179 plus 10 armor factor in the original TRO. I'm assuming that's internal structure being included. I'm not sure. Either way. That's not really much else on that one. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Hope you have a good week. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.